Business with a servant's heart. Welcome to the podcast. Inspiration, motivation takes. Listen to the podcast. We're all about to talk about life. Our guests will share their life story. We want you to success in life and business. We're ready and we will start shortly. We're gonna talk about life. We're going to speak on business. You're gonna shine bright. We are going to witness. Business with a servant's heart. With hosts Steve, Ramona, and Ray. Inspiration, education talks. Listen to the podcast.
Welcome to the world of a business owner, juggling a whirlwind of responsibilities 2 to 5 years into the journey. Now, envision the transformative power of a mentor guiding you towards efficiency, fostering communication skills, and setting realistic goals. This mentor is the key molding a successful, profitable, socially conscious company. Harness the power of mentorship and let your business thrive. BrainShare Business Mentors is one of the top 10 mentoring firms in the San Francisco Bay Area. Let us help you build the business of your dreams. Select your path and get started today.
Welcome, everyone, to Doing Business with a Servant's Heart podcast. Doing business in life with a purpose, serving others and achieving success. I'm your host, Steve Ramona. We created this show for you because we want everyone to be motivated, inspired, and educated to learn how to do business, but I think more importantly, live life to make an impact in the world. As you listen to this incredible guest I have on today, I want you to think about who you will serve today and how, and what impact you'll create today from that service or for something else. We need to work together in this world, not work against each other to make this world a better place. I want to thank my two sponsors, BrainShare.us, build a business that works without you. Discover how to create a self-sustaining business that thrives even in your absence. You can have a business that doesn't tie you down. We'll guide you through the steps to build an enterprise that operates smoothly without your constant oversight. And then pitchdb.com. Imagine 11,000 conferences you can speak at, 3 million podcasts you could be a guest at, a magazine article, a newspaper article, a radio station, or a news station reaches out and wants to interview you. That's what pitchdb.com does for you. It does the automated pitching for you so you can go out and spread your message out. Become a thought leader and grow your network to grow your net worth. Now, I'm excited because I mentioned impact in my monologue, and this is a feminine. You're going to see it's a woman, but she acts feminine. I'm so excited to hear all about this. Nana, welcome to the show. Did I say it right?
You said it wonderful. Thank you.
Beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you for inviting me to do this with you. I told you before we started, I am so blessed to be here because I feel our missions align, and
Love it.
So it's wonderful to be here.
Well, I want to thank you for help spreading the message through your eyes, through your soul about this servant heart. And that leads me to ask, do you believe men are adversarial or adversaries?
Okay, so that's two different questions, right? Adversaries,
Right.
Adversaries.
Yes, I'm doubling up on you.
Yeah. So are they adversarial? They can be, as we women can be as well, depending on the circumstances, for sure. Are they our adversaries? No, absolutely not. And that is the mission that I'm on, to rescue, if it ever was, because I feel in a certain way, I don't feel men and women have collaborated the way I envision it, probably ever in history. But I think we can get there. And no, the man, actually, I'm a defendant of you guys today. I wasn't this way all my life, though I was never a man hater, just to make that very clear. But I didn't defend you and protect you the way I believe we should do today in order to keep our relationships at work and at home working well.
Yeah. A servant heart is very transparent. You just proved that right there. I appreciate that. That you were at one point not fighting, but it wasn't such a good relationship. And now it's gotten better because you've learned how to act feminine, I would assume, right?
Correct.
What describe that? I mean, I'm not feminine, obviously. I'm a male, and people probably figured that out quickly. But what does that mean for us males out there, and maybe the women that don't get that yet?
Okay, so this is a very, very interesting question, because we all as humans have what in the Western world we call the feminine and the masculine side. The Chinese call it the yin and the yang. So the moon and the sun depend, you can give it whatever name, but there are two sides within all humans that is a more forward goal-oriented doing, providing side, and a nurturing, caring, creating, the wisdom side of all of us. So men and women have this. The thing is, by nature, men, because of their biology, are more oriented towards using the masculine side of us and less of the feminine. And the women before, and I'm going to make that very clear, that before, back in the days, used more their feminine energy than their masculine. And that aligned with the roles. You see, I always explain that there are three different concepts: the role, the biology, and the energy. And we tend to merge all of those in one and say, the role of a housewife is done with the feminine energy, of course, and it's done by a woman. But it's not always the case. So my femininity, or my feminine side, was suppressed most of my life. I used mostly my masculine energy, and that's why I got along pretty well with men as one of the boys. But when it came to personal relationships and sometimes work, we collided. Because as a woman, my masculine energy clashed with the masculine energy of the other person. And that is what masculine energy does. Masculine energy competes.
Yeah.
And it's
I agree.
normal. Yeah, so it's normal. I mean, you see two men discussing something, and sometimes you think they're fighting. And they're not really fighting. They're competing for their idea. They're competing for their business. They're competing, to prove that they are right. And that is okay. But when you're, as a woman, dealing with a man, and it's not necessary to compete, but you're using your masculine energy, there's always going to be conflict.
Sports is a perfect example of what you so eloquently just said. Go watch fans in a sporting event, two men going back, two different, fans of two different teams. You're absolutely right. We'll argue about, the building's 6 feet tall. No, it's 20 feet tall, But I love what you said, that you had this masculine side of you, but you collided with the ego of men. And then men seeing you were a woman, oh my God, she's not going to go above me in this business. Why not? If you could do the job better than me and the company flourishes, let's go crazy, right?
Correct. And here's the thing, because I learned this the hard way. I learned it through my divorce after 22 years of marriage and working in the corporate world. And when I realized that my marriage didn't work because of the way I handled my energy or my behavior due to what I explained before, well, I mean, it was very hard for the marriage to work and to be cordial. So in business is exactly the same thing. And this is what I am proposing. We feel women only can use their masculine energy in business. And yes, masculine energy, which is the doing, the solving problems, the goal-getter, is absolutely essential. We're not even going to discuss that. That is a must for anything to happen. However, thinking that the feminine should not be brought to the business world is, in some cases, killing our businesses, our planet, our co-workers' environment, and harmony. Because here's the thing, we have stigmatized the feminine as weak. And I'm going to tell you by my experience and the people that work with me and that I coach and that come to my workshops, they all find their power even greater when they embrace both the masculine and the feminine. So, you go to a meeting, for example. I worked for Microsoft 12 years, sales. It was, I worked corporate sales. Most everybody I dealt with were men. If I would have known what I know now, I have no doubt I would have been more successful. Because here's the thing. When you're in a meeting, and I challenge my women to do this in meetings, to put it into practice, right? You're in a meeting and there is a confrontation and you go to your nurturing side or even your vulnerable side and you say, you know what, guys? I have no idea what you're talking about. Can somebody help me understand this strategy that we're putting together? Because I don't see it, or whatever it is. I assure you that the men in the room that are healthy human beings and reasonable human beings are not going to eat you up. They're not going to attack you. They're probably not going to use it against you. And that's where I go to rescue men. And I become a defendant of you guys out there, because I have proven in my life and the life of others that you guys mean well. We just don't understand each other.
God, that is, audience, you see why I had her on this show. That is so well said, because being male, absolutely. Hey, I need help, Steve. I would be right there sitting right now. I do it today. A number of women entrepreneurs that I help. And it just seems to open the door and they're just willing to be more transparent and work with you. I get it. But here's something I'm thinking about as you're talking. This is such a great conversation. Well, generations change. Gender changes with generation. How's that come into play with all this?
Well, I think it's more necessary now than ever.
Yeah.
We are, and I know this is a business platform, but
it's all right.
What's happening at our personal level impacts our business. And that is something that I wrote in one of the articles that I wrote recently in my LinkedIn. You bring all of yourself to work. So that is also a myth. I can be this kind of crazy person at home, totally unbalanced, all messed up, and that person is not going to go to work. No, that person goes to work. You can hide it for a little bit, maybe, because, it's not personal relationship, but eventually, a year in, months in, weeks in working, it's going to come out. So you bring your whole self. Why do I say that? Because we are in a crisis right now with our young generation. They are kind of a sandwich, I call them, in between what it was back in the 50s. Women had a certain role in society. This is before the second wave of the female revolution. The first one was in the late 1800s, and early 1800s, actually. Most people don't know that. And the world now, which is absolutely, I'm going to say, different, and we still don't know how different. We still don't understand what's happening. So it is going to have a huge impact in the generations if they don't understand these concepts of we are different. And I get pushback from so many people on this. Women and men are different. And we can't avoid the fact that we are gender biologically different. That biology, and the more I study this, the more I learn, our brains don't function the same. Our hormones create a different world in a woman's body than in a man's. We have to consider that in life because that impacts our behavior. So now, of course, women can do the same thing as men, no doubt, in so many realms. We can do the same. Technology has done that. And this is another thing that I get a lot of people don't like when I say this. The female revolution happened and was possible because technology allowed us to do the same work as you did.
Yeah.
technology wouldn't have been there for us, we'd still be doing the same thing as the 1800s. Because
Yeah.
you guys are stronger than us. There is no fighting that. So
Got my head
technology,
spinning.
yeah.
You
Well,
got my head spinning. Oh my gosh. No, and again, in life, and I love that you said business to life, because I totally agree with you. You're having a divorce at home and you've been divorced, it's going to affect you in your personal, professional life. It has to, because it's emotional. And if you lost a huge contract at work, you're going to come home and your wife's going to go, "Hey, let's go." I'm not in the mood. I just lost $1 million. But working together, going, "Okay, I understand. What can I do to help?" I love that you said that, because so many people teach, "Oh, separate those two." It's impossible. We're not robots.
no, that's asking us to have like kind of an outer body experience, right? It's like grab your brain, take it out, put it to rest for a little bit, and then come back. It's like that, like you said, it's impossible.
Yeah. Now, corporations and corporate work, you did Microsoft, so one of the top companies in the world. How do you act feminine, and what principles do you use in that corporate environment for the women out there?
Well, for one, receiving, to me, today, that is at the core of many of our problems. Women feel that if they receive any help, a compliment, anything from a man, and I'm talking specifically man-woman relationship, they become weak. They become a target. They owe the person something that, they're going to come and collect eventually. But receiving is the biggest and the strongest trait of the feminine that can help collaboration and cooperation in a personal and corporate life. If someone offers you help at work, say yes. Maybe you don't need the help. Maybe you already solved it, but say yes. I mean, you never know if that person is going to give you another point of view on the problem. You may get a new strategy that you hadn't thought about. So receive it. Take 5 minutes and say yes. If someone wants to help you carry stuff, this is typical. I saw this so many times, and I did it myself, right?
Yeah.
Because on top of everything, I work out. So I really did not need you carrying my boxes. And so I did myself. But here's the thing. You're in an office, somebody's going to help you. Let it go, girls. Just let it go and allow the help to happen. Because here's the thing. That person that helped you instantly will have a greater connection with you.
And it's, yeah, just going to say what's interesting. This is such a great conversation. Oh my God, you're a rock star. You're because women come in, they have to have that masculine personality. Well, us masculine don't receive very well. I'm much better at it, but you're saying drop that, be feminine, act feminine, as a female would receive that ask. Can I help your boxes, and just run with it, but then bring your masculinity power back into another situation. Kind of, am I thinking right here?
You're spot on. That is exactly it.
Okay.
You described it beautifully. Yes. And here's the thing. We feel, and I was talking to some people that we got together 2 days ago, and I was explaining this, and we think, because when I say we got to balance the masculine and the feminine at work and at home, there is no specific formula. It's like, oh, okay, so I got to be 50% of the time here and 50 here, or 49 and 48. I haven't been. No, it's not about that. It's about assessing the situation that you're in at the moment, and becoming aware of what energy or what side of you makes sense to use in that moment. So here's an example. In a meeting, right? Microsoft mid-year reviews they're shorter now, but back when I worked in Microsoft, we spent like months planning of the year. It was crazy. Hundreds of Excel spreadsheets and analysis, and it was crazy, you know. And this happened every 6 months, so imagine, no? But those meetings were super stressful, super stressful. Here's the thing. You're in a 4-hour meeting and you are diving into strategies. You're totally in the masculine energy, solving problems, thinking, okay, we have this problem. What are we going to do? And then you see someone that's looking tired, that it's even upset. Why can't you take a moment and say, is there anything I can do for you? Do you need to take a break? Is there anything wrong? Is there anything you're thinking that you haven't mentioned to us? Because I feel, you know, you're not well. That's the feminine. That is not the masculine. And that could be asked by a man or a woman. So the feminine can be brought into the meeting. You take a pause and you connect as a person. 100% of the time, that meeting will continue in a better light.
You're developing skill sets for women too. Is that what I'm hearing? To go back and forth your masculine to feminine in these different scenarios, right?
Absolutely, because it's a dance. It's really becoming fully aware of what do you need under these circumstances. Do I need to solve a problem? Do I have a goal that I want to achieve? Or can I just connect with the person? Or am I creating? Because here's the thing, creativity lives in the feminine for men or women. So when you go into this think tanks, right? Okay, let's meet to just think, create. Tesla and you know, Elon Musk is dreaming about going to Mars, or now he wants to go to who knows where, right?
Yeah.
That is the feminine. That is the feminine side of him, dreaming, creating, you know, giving birth to new ideas. That's the feminine. Now, when he says, okay, we're going to Mars, how are we going to get there?
Male.
The question that tells you where you're going to, what are you going to use?
Yeah.
When you say how, immediately you're going to go to the masculine, because the masculine is the one that finds the how.
Yeah. You know, interesting. I worked at my family owned health clubs for 20 years and I was manager, director. I'm not big on labor, but you know, I ran a number of women, work with them. And I used to hear all the time, like, we kind of did what you're saying in the 80s. They go, Steve, don't tell us, we're visual, show us. And when I did that, the meeting just took off because now I was being feminine, I guess. I was acting feminine, right? Am I thinking?
Yeah. Every time you connect with a person, you nurture them, you take care of them, you love them, because we you know, we're scared of using the word love at work. Listen, I loved my coworkers, and a lot of them are still friends to this day. To this day, we're dear friends, and that's love, right? And of course, you're not going to love everybody, but that word can be used at work, please.
Oh
Don't
my God.
be scared.
Nana, you're speaking my language. I do keynote speaks about this, and I get debates like, well, I can't love my employees. Why not? And we're not talking intimacy love, it's brotherly love. There's different loves. Audience, what she just said, listen to that a couple of times. That's a powerful message because it changes the culture of a business when there's love brought into it, right?
100%. 100%. And if you look at and I'm loving that company more and more, Choban, the yogurt. When you see the TEDx, the TED talk of the owner, he brought his love into the company from day one when he bought that plant from Kraft. And the way he hired the employees, the way he takes care of the employees, the way they participate in the business, the way he takes care of the community around the company. He is totally doing the feminine and the masculine in his way of managing his business. And they have grown, and they're the biggest yogurt company.
Good yogurt. I eat it. So I know it's good yogurt. It's really good.
right?
That's $1 million tip you just gave. If I owned a company and I heard that and just brought 50% of love into it and built on that, we got massive opportunities, right?
Absolutely. And that is what I am obsessed with sharing this message.
Yeah.
Business people, men or women, who dare to bring the feminine into the way they manage the companies are going to be 100 times more successful than any other company. And the companies that are doing that now prove it. Patagonia is another example.
Yeah. Good call. Yeah.
Fantastic, fabulous work for the planet and for their employees. They have one of the highest employee satisfaction of all companies. And they care. Like if a father in Patagonia says, I need to be with my kid, it's like, I have to. They say, farewell, go.
Be with the kid.
That is feminine.
Yeah. It's so cool because Rob Hughes, who's a guest on my show, and shout out to Rob, he's got a marketing company. And we talked about that. He does every Friday a survey. What do we do right? What do we do wrong this week? And Monday they talk about it. I'm thinking that's you changed my whole vocabulary now. That's a feminine side of Rob of I care about what you think to help us grow.
Absolutely. Yes. Absolutely. Yes. That is part of the nurturing. That's part of the caring. That's part of the love. And that's part of the wisdom. Because wisdom lives in the feminine. Knowledge lives in the masculine. And they're different.
Yeah. It's completely different. I'm going to go crazy on you right now and go very negative. I love your laugh. This is just an awesome lady. I'm just going to say it. One of my best shows. I watch some of these real estate shows just because I like to dream about a $30 million home. And I don't know why somebody would have 20 bathrooms and 10 bedrooms and you're a single guy, whatever. But, these realtors, I won't name the shows, but I've seen a couple of them. And these realtors come in like they're modeling boobs, showing and legs showing, but they're in a professional environment. Does that, I'm just going to say, I don't know if it's right, hurt the act of being feminine, or is it just accentuated? I'd love to know the answer to that.
Oh my goodness. I love this question. I absolutely love this question. I'm going to start answering that question by something, a quote that I have that's I created, which is, femininity is not something you wear, it is something you feel. Now, going into your question, you can be wearing the tightest clothes, the highest heels, the most makeup of any woman in the room, and be in your masculine energy. Femininity, or the feminine energy, does show up also external in beauty, because beauty, and this, thank you for the segue to explain this. Beauty lives in the feminine side. Utility lives in the masculine side. So for example, when you buy a sofa and you're looking at the sofa from the colors and it matches the room and it has these, patterns that's the feminine side of the person looking at the sofa. But when you say, oh, it can seat 3 people and we can, and it's sturdy, it's not gonna, that's the masculine side. You're buying the same sofa and you're doing this simultaneously. But I just want to explain that feminine focuses on the beauty and the masculine focuses on the utility. So here's the thing. If you as a woman are dressing with the high heels, the tight clothes, and the makeup to get men, you're doing it with the masculine, because you have a goal in mind. There is something you want to accomplish by doing that. But if you do the same because you feel great, because the material and the softness of the dress feels good, you like how you feel, then you're using the feminine.
This is way interesting. Oh my, that's why I love doing podcasts. I learned so much. That's why we would see women dressed like this, but when the men come out, they're not coming out in tank tops and Speedos showing off stuff, because that's not that men just don't do that when they go in the business professional environment. But like some of these women look like they're wearing bikinis under a dress. You can see the bikini, and I'm not a fashion guy, so I could be way off. But it was much different. And the men walk in, and the guy in a suit, no tie, open shirt, coming in. Okay, this is amazing what I'm learning, because they're doing their feminine side. That's their feminine way of doing business.
Well, but that's with the masculine.
Yeah.
If the goal is to make you sign the contract, then they did it with the masculine. They didn't use the feminine to dress sexy. If the dressing sexy is to accomplish something, is to make you do something for me, is to get you to say yes to me, I am doing that sexy dressing with my masculine energy. And this is where, it can get confusing for women because they feel they're in their feminine. No, they're not. If what you want is for him to say yes to you, you're not using your feminine to dress like that. But if you're doing it just for you, just because it makes you feel good, because today is a day to wear silk, then it's your feminine energy, but you have no goal.
That is, because you would hear them talk about, oh, you dress, oh, you look so gorgeous today. You could tell it's about them feeling sexy, or not about selling the home. So right?
Well, I guess you and I will not know that unless they're totally honest.
Yeah, there you go. And that's so true. It's
right.
So
because
true.
it's not going to be very common that a woman says, you know what? Yes, I dress like this to impress him, to get him to say yes to me, to probably come back a second time to see the house.
Yep.
They're not going to admit that. But if that is the case, that was masculine energy.
And to know this is so powerful. What a communication tool, right? Oh my gosh. Man, we've run over for, I'm fired up right now. We can go another hour, but we can't. We want to cut this off. I'd love to have you back down the road here. There's so much more we can get into in this. And this is such an apropos topic because of COVID, and, things are happening, and, now speakers, more female speakers like you are coming aboard. I think 2 years ago, 4% of the speakers in the world were women. I think it's doubled, or it's even more. And I want to see more of that, because some of the women I work with are, like you, incredible people that I enjoy meeting and working with. So, men, enjoy your business, women. That's what part of what she said. There's much more than that. Any last words? I know you got a workshop coming up you want to announce.
Yeah, I am in LA now because I used to live in New York before, and I did plenty of these workshops there and then Miami. But I live in LA now, and I have this coming Saturday, my first workshop in LA to explain all these things to women and have them experience the feminine in their body, because that is something that unless you experience it, like with everything in life, you don't know it.
Yeah. Yeah. And if you're listening to this or watching this after Saturday, so today's the 27th, she's going to have more workshops. How can they reach out to you about getting involved with a workshop down the road?
Well, any of my social media, and it's all Nana Ponce Leon. When you Google Nana Ponce Leon, that's me. It's on Instagram, on Facebook. My website is nanaponceleon.com. So just stay in tune through that, and you'll get the date for the next one.
And who founded the Fountain of Youth? Wasn't it Ponce de Leon?
Ponce de Leon, yeah. My great grandfather took the DE out and put the name together.
Are you related to him?
I haven't done, possibly. I don't know. I mean, it comes from Spain, and it used to be DE too in between. So my guess is it is. I haven't found out. I got to check that.
Well, I'm going to tell you right now, an audience, I think you agree with me. You have a soul of a fountain of youth. You are an absolute blessing. And God bless you for being on the show. I'm so appreciative. I want to thank you. Do me a favor. I say this is one show you want to do this. These platforms, these tech that we talked about, have a forward and a reverse button. You go back and forth on the show. If you find a section 5 or 10 minutes that you want to listen to, utilize that, learn, share it out to people who you can serve, like Nana served us today. Use that servant's heart. But that's why I love podcasts. I can listen to part of this and go back and learn more and understand what she's talking about, because there's some $1 million tips here. I don't want you to forget my TV show. It's called Together We Serve. It's Fridays at 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern. How about wearing doing business with a servant's heart t-shirt, hat, hoodie? Got them all. Go jump on my show notes and spread that message out to the world. And I think the most important thing is thank you for watching or listening. I appreciate it. I know Nana appreciates it as well. And I look forward to seeing you on the next episode of Doing Business with a Servant's Heart. See y'all.